What?
It's kind of windy.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Oh.
Are you ready to play Captain and Pirate today?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're gonna play Captain and Pirate here. Welcome back to another exciting and thrill-filled adventure with DIY Nautical Dream.
Cherished time. Yeah. All right, hi guys. Welcome back. I'm Priscilla, and I'm by myself. I'm doing this project alone since it's so messy. Husband went to work trip. I'm gonna take advantage of this week by myself. And stay tuned, it's gonna be so messy.
Seems like every time we're here, the wind is always blowing to the south.
We call it tide.
Yeah. We call everything tide. Oh, there's the blue one right there. That's the spot I wish we were parked in. I'd like to have the mooring spot. This is what I'm talking about. Also, look they got this all cleaned up and we're ready to sell it now, see? Oh,
Why not?
I know.
Hey guys.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
All right, how about yourself? Right on. Look at all the jellyfish. Man, they're just kind of hanging out.
Dang. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We're coming back to do the thing. Sponsored by our coffee,
Yeah, Bonnie Lake.
Avanti.
Avante Coffee in Bonnie Lake.
Hi guys,
Hey guys.
welcome back. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Rich.
Together, we make DIY
Nautical Dream.
Wait, hang on a second. You're here, honey? I think you went to your work
Yeah, well,
trip.
I'm everywhere, so I'm multitasking.
Anyways, let's go straight to our project. So this week's video,
What do we have up for this week, baby? What do we got
it's
going
gonna
on?
be so exciting.
Okay,
So are you ready?
I'm always ready.
All right,
If it's wet and messy, I'm ready.
I'm born ready.
Okay.
Anyways, we are cutting the new Teak panels, and we are removing the rotted large lenses frame,
Uh-huh.
and we are removing the large window lenses,
Oh, good times.
and it's gonna be a total mess. Anyways, so stay tuned guys. We're gonna show you how this wet project coming along.
All right. The wetter the better, right? All right. We'll get on this. We'll come back with you guys in a little bit. All right. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this right on the line here. And then we're going to take this section, because you see where there's part of a window frame cut out here. We're going to take this section and we're going to add it on to the end of this section. So the seam is not going to be here at the window. It'll be farther aft where it should be, because on the other side of the hull, the seam is over here instead of right here. And it's a small detail, but I want it to match. And so what we're getting ready to do here is we're getting ready to use this as a template. We're going to trace our lines on here all the way around, and then we'll get everything cut relatively close with the jigsaw, and then we'll do a final trim with the router. But I want to wait till we get the other piece added on here, and then we'll do it all together. And it doesn't have to be exact, precise, or anything like that, but we're going to get as close as we can so that it all matches up. Okay, so right now we're going to go ahead and get ready to cut that panel. It'll start to make more sense later when the pieces are laid out on the table together. It'll start to all come together. So one of the things we talked about doing before we pulled this panel off the boat was relocating the seam on the panels. And so that's where we added the blue tape there. And so we're just going to cut the seam there, and that'll match with the panel gap and seam on the opposite side. Okay, so now with the shorter one cut, we're going to try and line these two up and form them into one piece. So you can kind of see the idea here now, what we're trying to do. We're trying to make this, we're going to join these together and join those pieces together. And we can verify by where the trim lined up, if we're close or not, which we're pretty close there. And then down here at the bottom, we'll still have to adjust this gap. And the way we're going to do that is I'll put a straight edge along here so that these two kind of flow within the same, on the same length of straightness or alignment. And once we get that set, we'll clamp everything down and we'll trace it out and then we'll cut it. All right, so you can see here we got it pretty well lined up, and we have a little bit of gap here and a little bit of a gap there, but that's okay because these weren't net. These were not net, no gap when it was installed before. There was a little bit of a gap in there, so we got a little bit of room to play around with. It does not have to be precise. I mean, look how sloppy these holes are. We're just trying to get it to where these are one piece instead of split in a really weird spot. So it'll all work out. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to lock it down just like this and then trim it out. I'm going to mark all the holes where the mounting screws go. This will help us know that we have everything lined up fairly well. Well, we'll get the major ones. We got the major ones marked out, and then the smaller ones we can take off of the window frame and transfer them onto there. More than anything, I just want to get this. I just want to get this line located pretty solid, and then the rest of this we'll just trim as we need to because it's going to be going up underneath the headliner. This line here goes up underneath the headliner, so most of that is not even going to be seen. But anyways, we'll just want to get it close. So you can see this is going to be a very long panel. So it's very important we get everything as straight and as in good alignment as we can, because if it's off just a little bit, the screw holes are not going to line up on the boat where they came off from. And we want to make sure we get a good template out of these, because we're going to cut the new teak panels out of these old ones with the router bit, with the following wheel cutting bit. All right, so we went ahead and we're going to go ahead and locate the second half as well. And so this half, once complete, will join up right here at the back half, and that's where the little window over the navigation station is. That's that one right there. So, and these are going forward towards the front of the boat. And then we'll come up with a piece of trim. It's going to go over this seam, and whatever trim we use to conceal this seam, we'll use the same piece of trim, same style trim on the other side of the boat, so everything matches. So we have this all traced out already, and we'll cut it close with the jigsaw. Just like we'll do this, we'll cut it close. We won't cut it right on the line, but we'll cut it close, and then later we'll clamp everything up and use the router for final trim. Okay, so we got these two pieces clamped together mostly. You'll see, looking down the edge here, it's very warped, so it's going to require a lot of good clamp up as I'm running down the edge with the router. Otherwise the router will fall behind this and it'll end up cutting the piece that I don't want to ruin. So anyways, it'll make more sense here in a little bit, but in order to do this we have to actually flip it upside down. See how much bow we have there? quite a bit. So we'll go ahead and flip this upside down, and we're just going to do one edge at a time. That way we're going to be really careful, and we can put a lot of clamping pressure on it. As we get each edge done, then we'll just move the clamps over and around until we get it all the way flush trimmed to match the old piece that's on the other side. Due to how much warpage this little board has, it's going to take just about every clamp we have. So you see the roller right here? That's going to fall along the backside edge of the piece that's underneath. And then if it goes well, this will all match as we go along. The roller will follow along the bottom side. So we'll go ahead and get everything set up and get to work, but it's clamped up good. We got rid of all the warping and gapping down below. The router is probably one of my most favorite tools that I've learned how to use since we started this project. Using this following cutting bit with the roller on it really makes the job easy and gets a really precise cut. You can almost match just about anything you want with it. Okay, so we have it clamped up nice and tight. We've clamped it and removed most of the bowing, so we won't have a lot of gap on our underside, which is actually the templates on the bottom in this case. And the flush trim bit will have a roller. It's going to follow along the edge down and down on the bottom. As you can see here, we have a new Teak sidewall panel now. We made that using the old one as a template. Now it's time to prepare to cut out the port light opening, and with that we're going to use the red jigsaw here. It's not that good of a jigsaw, but it gets the job done eventually. You'll see we have to drill a couple large holes with the drill to help the jigsaw to make the corners. Otherwise the blade will bind up and it just doesn't cut that well. Now that we've located the cutout for the port light opening, it's time to start locating all the holes for mounting the port light frame to the teak panel. We're going to use the drill to do this, and it's pretty simple. Just drill a couple small pilot holes and we'll open them up bigger once it's installed on the boat. Well, we got that port light hole cut out. I always struggle a little bit with that jigsaw. That red jigsaw, for some reason, gives me a hard time, but it does the job. It makes me earn it every time. So here we are. All right, so we went ahead and got all the edges flush trimmed. So we got our window hole cut out. It's not exact, but what we'll do is we'll sand it to fit once it's mounted on the boat so we don't take too much off. It's better to sand it away than have cut too much away. We have all of our little mounting holes pre-drilled, just pilot drills, not full size. We'll full size once we're ready to mount back into place on the boat, because these can shift around a little bit. So anyways, and then there was some mounting holes up along here that we also drilled, and more window frame mounting holes here also. So yeah, it's getting there. All right, so we'll see what the final piece is going to look like. Hopefully it looks pretty good. All right, that's not too bad. I think that's something we can live with. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and make sure that we're going to use, these are actually screw holes here. So we want to go ahead and darken those up so we know exactly those are the primary mounting holes. So just so that I know later on, because things get kind of crazy once we get varnish and everything on here. It's very easy to lose track of what holes are what. So all right, so all in all, this little panel looks like it turned out pretty good. And it appears from what we can tell here, it looks like we made almost an exact duplicate of the other one, except this one, of course, is new teak plywood versus the old rotted one that has all the water stains on it. So one of the other projects we've been working on is replacing these overhead pieces of plywood or scrap wood. I call them scrap wood, but what they are just retainer panels that the overhead vinyl staples to, and they also hold the side panels, the teak side panels, in place at the very top. So those, as you know, are pretty rotted, so we've pulled those off, brought those home, made some new ones, and we will be bringing these back to the boat with us when we go back to the boat. So in a way, it's kind of like boat parts. We're happy to have new boat parts, right? So here they are. They look pretty nice. Hopefully they fit. Let's see, because we made this off of the old patterns for that side, so I wanted to bring it to the boat because I'm hoping to get a little ahead and I won't have to redesign a new one of these. So let's see if it fits the cutout for this one here. And yeah, that's cool. That's really good. We just need to trim it down right here a little bit, just not a tiny bit, and make that a little more level, even it out a little bit. But yeah, so that's cool. So we'll make one more of these and it'll go right over here on this side, as long as this is the same fit.
Looks like it, huh?
And yeah, it's good enough for government work, so it'll work on a boat. Yeah, we'll go with this. So that saves us a lot of time. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. And now we can just cut these off with the multi-tool. Take these out of here and clean all this up, sand it smooth, paint it. And we'll make one more new one of this, and then we'll fiberglass these up into place, and then we'll epoxy them really good with penetrating epoxy on these on all sides, edges, and holes, so water is never going to get in here and rot it. Like, I mean, you see that? Did you see? Look at, I mean, this is how rotted this is. This thing's falling apart. There's no way I'd even be able to get a template out of this if we had to. I mean, I could, but I'd have to be really careful. I'd have to tape it up. Yeah, stuff's just falling apart. So it's totally rotted, which is good. Our new one's already going to fit. So all I have to do is get a height measurement off of here, how thick it is. And this is 1/2 inch thick, so we'll add a little bit of fiberglass around the base just to build it up. That's cool. So we'll take those. Today's project will be removing these, cleaning all this up, and if I remember right, there's some rotted wood back in here. We might be able to save it by putting. No, so it's all rotted in here. We'll have to put. That's what these strips are for. I made 2 of these, and these are fillers, and they will go inside here and in here, and that's to replace the wood that rotted out in here. It happened on the other side as well, so I just made these in advance because I thought we'd need them, and we did. So that saved a few steps. But yeah, this is all rotted, so I'll clean this out and I'll epoxy those into place and seal them all up. It'll be good. So it's just part of the process. We did the same thing on that side, and that side turned out really well. So we'll do the same thing over here. It's part of the lessons learned from, the experience we got from the other side. See how far we can get this weekend. If luck is on our side, we'll have these totally cut off. we'll remove these plastic lenses and bring them home. We have the old ones at home from the other side, but I just want to make sure these are all the same size before I cut new ones. And they'll be like the ones that we have over there on that side. We've already done this before, so we'll make new ones out of tinted acrylic, same thickness, everything, and they'll go back in. Nobody will ever know what happened. And like I said, if we get far enough, all this will be cleaned and painted and ready to go for the next steps. All right, so here we are. We're going to go ahead and check some of the pieces we made at home and see how they fit here for the first time. This is the piece that replaces the one that was there before. So, looks like it's a pretty close fit, so might have to do a little bit of trimming, but not a whole lot. So we also moved the seam is going to be right here. Instead, before it was like right here, right in the middle, right in part of the window. So we cut it and moved the seam back here, and so the window will have one full opening to its own. So that'll be good. That's going to go there. Varnish this up and do some final trimming and fitting. This piece is going to go up here to replace the old rotted one that was there. So it'll go up there, and with that really, all that really does is it holds this in place at the top. So it'll be up there something like this, and then the vinyl attaches to this, and you won't ever see it again. So just a piece of scrap wood is the way it looks like to me, but that's the way they just made it as a retainer for the Teak trim panel. Just doing a little quick test fit, and the mounting holes all line up. We used off of the old piece, and so everything, it's a good fit already. We'll just sand it smooth on the edges so we don't get any kind of splintering or anything like that. And then we're just going to set this aside, varnish it, and store it until we're ready to install it. Feels like we're kind of getting the hang of making these teak panels now. By the time this project's over, we should be pretty good at it. Alright, time to switch gears here a little bit. We've been dreading doing this, but it's time to start working on taking out these large port light lenses. Okay, the next step is going to be to remove these frames. We'll take all the screws out that are holding these frames in, get the frames off, then take out the acrylic lenses. We got one here, and then another one we got to do up there, frame and lens also. And then we'll clean off all the seal. It's probably going to be the 3M 5200 sealant holding that on as well. Put tape over these, duct tape these holes shut, the window holes. We'll start back on the inside, removing those rotted frames and cleaning those surfaces, wiping everything down with acetone, and then getting ready to paint it with the white paint that we've been using on other areas as well. So then once all that dries, we'll cut out some 1/4 inch thick foam insulation, and we'll put that down, and then we'll be ready to start putting sidewall panels on. Of course, that's about a week's worth of work. So This is supposed to be the satisfying part of it all right here. I'll take this and this. And then we'll just kind of so if you're looking at this, you can see this has been leaking for a very long time. Yep. Alright, so we got the first window and the frame off. Well, the window's, this part's still in here, but you can see by looking at the seal around there, this has been leaking badly for a really long time. So we already knew we were going to be doing this, but it's a good thing we're doing it. We'll do the same thing to the other one in the aft position, but we just want to get this off, get it cleaned up. Alright, so check it out. Look at that. It's actually growing green in there. That's how badly this has been leaking and rotting. The whole frame is just going to come out in pieces. It's alright, we knew it was leaking. We didn't know it was leaking quite that bad, but this side of the boat drips pretty good when it rains out if we didn't have these taped off. So this just validates that we're doing the right thing and we're on the right path. I'm going to rebed everything. We're going to replace all the rotted frame on the inside. We're going to fix it. We're going to make it all back to good and like new again, and it won't leak anymore. If we do our job right, it will not leak again.
Well, I guess this pretty much explains why when it was raining outside, it was raining on the inside by where these two window lenses are. So we're doing the right thing.
This is the second window, the aft one, and it's as rotted as the forward one is. I mean, you can just tell. This has been leaking for a very long time. And so we'll rebuild both of these, rebed them, reseal them, make new retainer frames for behind here. Put everything back together, fiberglass, epoxy. Nothing's going to get saturated with water. If it does leak, it will not rot because we'll use penetrating epoxy on all the wood so that it's sealed from any water being able to penetrate and rot it.
Baby wanted to help out with the scraping of the 5200 and removing the old excess tape residue and all that stuff off the outside of the window frames. So hey, I let her have at it. She's doing a really good job. Appreciate the help, baby. Thank you very much. Okay, we're almost to the most fun part of this whole project coming up, and that part is to remove these rotted wooden frames. These are the interior frames that hold the lenses from coming in towards the boat. You know, like if it ever got hit by a crashing wave up on deck or anything like that, this is what will hold the windows from crashing in. So it's pretty strong. You can tell they did a great job, and yeah, they lasted the test of time, but it's time to remove them. One of the things we want to do first before we take them off is get a good profile height measurement. So the new ones that we put on will be the same thickness, etc.
Okay, now that we got the frames on the outside off, the lenses are out, baby's cleaning the seal from the outside, and I'm getting ready to start cutting this old wood rotted frame off, and we'll do the same thing here. And you can see they have some filler up here. We'll have to remember that. We may put that back just to keep moisture from collecting up above there. And then we'll get all this off, and then we'll clean it all up, and we'll do the same thing over here. So now see, they didn't put any filler up here, so they're not even consistent in their process, but that's okay. We'll be consistent on ours. We're going to make sure that this isn't going to rot again. Even if it ever does get wet, it won't rot. So alright, let's see what kind of luck we have. This is going to come off in pieces. Maybe we better put some safety glasses on here. This stuff will probably be flying all over the place. Well, the epoxy's holding well. we'll get the proper prying tool here, a flat blade screwdriver. We're gonna go ahead and pause recording here, and we'll come back later when we make some progress. We're earning our money today. Oh wait, we're not getting paid. Dang. Forgot about that part. This is struggling is real. Okay, let's get some, need some kind of satisfaction here. Wow, look at that junk. Boy, they use good epoxy. Too bad they didn't seal it very good. Oh yeah. Now we got all that to clean up. We got all this to chip out right here. All in there. And up above there. We want it to look like this. Right here.
Okay, that took a really long time to get all that chiseled and ground and cut away. We used hammer and screwdriver. We used a very coarse grinding bit on the multi-tool, and of course we used the multi-tool cutting blade as well and went through several of those. The epoxy was on there, there's no doubt about that, but still the 5200 and everything else they used just did not create enough of a barrier to stop the water from coming in and rotting everything. So you see the mess we left here below, and we're going to rebuild this. We'll make it back to good, and you'll see it comes out better in the end. These surfaces are now just about ready for the first layer of fiberglass and thickened epoxy. We're gonna level these surfaces out because they're a bit wavy, just because of the way the hull was laid up, but also the way the production installation was done. Some of that, they used some really thick hardcore epoxy. We had to grind that off, and this is a result of it. If you're wondering what goes next, we'll glass in a new frame like this, and then we'll slowly build it up and epoxy it into place, and we'll fill in the low spots, and it'll be nice. We'll never even know it ever happened when we're all done. So I think we spent like 4 hours grinding this off, and then we had about ½ inch of epoxy and fiberglass, sawdust, or whatever you call it, on about everything. So it was quite the disaster. So, but now we're fairly well cleaned up here. Because all the wood in here is all rotted, and you can see it just comes out. I mean, it's all, that wood is all completely rotted in there from water just getting in there year after year, and you can see there's nothing left. And this is the attaching structure for the teak trim frames, everything like that, that the teak panels and everything attaches to. So that's all gone. So we have nothing for our new teak panels to attach to, right? So where this comes in handy, and I learned this from doing the other side. So we'll trim this here and here, and then we'll sink it down in here. We'll get it to fit really well, and then we'll mark how high we need to trim this off so that our frame that goes up here will sit in its position correctly. Once we know that information, we'll trim this. We'll do another test fit, make sure it fits in there really well. And then once we have our size we're looking for, we'll take this out and we'll use that penetrating epoxy on this, on all the sides, edges, and everywhere it's gonna have a chance for water to get into it. We'll put that penetrating epoxy on there, and then once that's all cured up, we'll paint it up, and then we'll set it down in here with a bunch of epoxy, thickened epoxy, and we'll drop it in there and epoxy that into place, let it set up. Then we'll have solid structure back in here again, and we'll do the same thing on this spot right here. And you'll see right here, this is broken. We got to get all the rotted plywood out of there, carve that out so that we can install those new pieces on there. One of the nice things about the location of the boat where it's moored at, we soon discovered there's 2 really good Mexican restaurants around there. So we like to take breaks when we're working hard and then go get something to eat and then come back and get back at it again. And that's what we were doing here. Now we're back home and we're making that final large teak panel to replace that long one that was rotted. And so we're making a new one now. We're using the old one as a template and we'll cut a new one here. Okay, so now you saw us make the replacement teak panel for the smaller section. Now we're going to go ahead and set up the router to make the large, long teak panel section, the one that's just forward of this shorter one. This one takes a little bit more work, a little bit more time, and we have to be a lot more careful because this is a lot bigger piece of teak. We don't want to waste it.
Alright, so what do you think, Kenny?
Oh, I think that was a big wet mess, and lots of 5200
Your favorite?
rotted window frames, and got to use lots of different tools, the screwdriver, the multi-tool. Making a
Every
mess.
little
Yeah.
thing that helped to do that project.
Yeah, whatever it takes to get that thing apart. So, but we got there, and we made some good progress, and yeah, lots of good progress. So, you know, we got the teak panels cut out and made, and so that's really nice. Those are gonna look good. And what else we got going on? What else we got going on, baby?
Well, I think that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. So we'll wrap it up for this week. Oh, and so one thing we'd like to say is we just want to say thank you to all the lots of new subscribers who've joined lately. We've picked up quite a few.
We really appreciate it.
Oh man, we're so appreciative of that. That really, when you guys subscribe each
and unsubscribe.
yeah, and and whenever we get a new subscriber, we really appreciate it. And we just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers, and we also want to say thank you to
welcome on board
all of our longtime subscribers as well, and welcome on board, everybody. We really appreciate it. We're really trying to grow this channel. We'd like to hit our 1,000 subscriber mark hopefully before the end of this year, and we'd like to hit our 4,000 watch hours as well. So you guys can help us with that. That'd be great. Make sure when you're watching the videos, you let them play all the way through. That really also means a lot to us and helps us as well. So we just want to say thank you to everybody who's on board, new or long time. Thank you so much.
Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. Please watch it from the very beginning up till the end.
Right.
If you are not subscribed yet, please
subscribe down below. Cling, 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 cling.
Yep.
Somewhere around there is where it's at. So anyways, hope you guys find that subscribe button, and thanks for watching. We hope you all have a wonderful day. See you next time.
Next week. Bye.
Bye.
Cherish the love we have. Oh. See you.
Dang, if I only hit record. Man.
I think you did.
Okay. All right, we're recording.
Yeah, it's recording
Yeah.
already. Hi guys. Welcome back. Anyways, let's do this project.
Oh, man.
Did you record it?
I don't think it's recording. Is it?
No.
Do you see the red light flashing?
No.
Oh, man.
Gotta redo it.
Dang.
Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Priscilla. I'm by myself. Doing this project alone.
Oh, dang. I think I forgot to hit record.
Like always.
Oh, man. Is it recording?
No. I think you did. Or maybe not. Did we record it?
Hang on. No, not yet.